Dear teachers, this is not another video about working harder. And it's not going to be about how to make better lesson plans or how to get another certification or about finding out one more way to pour from your already empty cup. If you have been feeling like the ground is shifting underneath you and your career, you're not imagining it. And it's not because you failed. The system that you were trained for is changing faster than even the schools can keep up with. And AI is speeding that up, not slowing it down. So today, I want to talk with you honestly, with respect for your intelligence, your work ethic, and your future, about what's really happening and what new doors are going to be opening quietly for those educators right now. So I just wanted to stop and take a moment to speak with you about a problem that I've seen happening or I've been sensing has been happening and that you probably have been seeing happening too. I noticed this problem back in I'd say 18, and I noticed that college graduates were coming out and they weren't able to find jobs as quickly as before. And there were a lot of people online making posts on social media talking about they're putting out hundreds, maybe even 1,000 resumes, and they were getting no bites at all. There's been a lot of postings on things called ghost jobs where employers will post that there's an opportunity and there's actually nothing that they are going to be hiring for even that moment, or maybe they're just collecting resumes so that they can maybe hire for a future date, but the actual job is not really an open job. So if you are a teacher and you are becoming more and more concerned about what's going on in the world today as far as the education system itself, how it's affecting your students, how it's affecting your own health and well-being, then this is a video I definitely encourage you to pay attention to. So my video today is going to be about how the education system, isn't built for you anymore. So dear teachers, this system, the education system, isn't built for you anymore. There are three things that I definitely want to cover in this video today. So first is that the credential-to-career game that the education system is playing. Number two is that AI has changed the game. And the third point is that you weren't warned that the game was changed. So those are the three things that I'm going to talk about today. So the first thing, the credential-to-career game. When we were in the Industrial Revolution stage, they had the school system that was being set up to prepare people for the world of work, for working for industries, for working for companies. So they were moving from the family farms and family businesses, and they were getting better pay to come and work for business owners or larger business owners, people who had factories and they own these things, and they were paying better wages, which was from the farm, which was very hard work, and moving into a company or which would become eventually the corporations as they grew later on. So the school system was to say, hey, we need people who are going to be trained for these types of work, these types of knowledge work that we need them to do. And knowledge at that time was very expensive in order to be able to convey. You needed to take a long time to learn your studies. You need to go to college and become specialized in your field. And the spread of knowledge was not necessarily cheap. We didn't have the internet, of course. So yes, you could be paid highly for the amount of information that you knew, the knowledge that you had, and that you could use to help build industries and businesses and that kind of thing. Teachers, both the elementary, so K through 12, and eventually the college professors were trained to know this knowledge so that they can impart it to the children and the students. And then eventually those students would go on to become better workers in these companies that they were being hired for. But we've now shifted from the industrial age, when that's when the education system was set up, to now we've moved into the information age. And information is widely available and very cheap to have access to. We have things like Google, and now we even have AI, which can gather information, vast amounts of information, scan the information, summarize the information. Just going to a Google search or asking AI to do deep research on topics that it took years for people to study. Now we have access to that now. Okay. So the game that we started with the Industrial Revolution, where you obtained your credential, you took years to get this credential, and then that credential was supposed to guarantee you some form of employment, that game has changed. Is no longer the case. And I already have some studies here that have brought to this point. I was looking over an article that I saw. It was from New York Mag, and they gave the example of the case of Alina McMahon. She was a recent college graduate. She graduated in marketing, and she went to the University of Pittsburgh. She had a very strong academic record, and she had already done 3 internships, including one with Paramount, which we all know is a pretty well-known name. She sent out 150 applications, and she got 0 traction. The reality of the situation was that roles were being cut due to AI or to outsourcing. So now we can blame it on AI, but they were doing these kinds of outsourcing before with more of the blue collar work or the labor trade work. They were outsourcing before, but now it's hitting the knowledge workers, the white collar or pink collar work, and those jobs are being sent to AI. So good grades and rule following used to guarantee a career. That was the name of the game. That's how it worked. And now the marketplace is retreating, and they're taking away those entry level ladder rungs that used to be on the career ladder. So the safe bets are no longer safe. The expert failure. For a decade, students were told to learn how to code. They graduated into a market where code was the first thing being automated. We're preparing them, or we prepared them for technological execution, not for economic reality of an automated world. That's why the unemployment rates for the computer programmers, these computer engineering majors, are even double that of other fields like biology and criminal justice and pharmacy. And it disproportionately hurts the young and educated. So AI changed the game, and it's hurting the young people more than it's hurting those in senior positions. So tech no longer favors the young adapter. The people that they were hiring before, they said, oh, we're going to hire all these young people that we can hire at a lower rate. People who were older in the workforce were being let go, and they're saying, okay, we'll take these young entry-level people, we'll teach them how to code, or they already know how to code. They can move fast and break things, but now that AI has entered the game, tech no longer favors those young workers. It favors the experienced strategist. So if the company already has a senior engineer, and they were thinking of hiring a junior entry-level engineer, they no longer have to do that because AI is able to write the code for them, and then they can have that senior engineer just structurally strategize and make sure that the AI is doing the work that the junior coder used to do. And it's affecting all areas, not just computer science, because people who are working in companies now saying, well, hey, what can I do to lower the cost for my business? Do I need to take on all that time and effort to train a young employee, or can I use the employees that we have now and just have them train with AI so that they're already experienced, they already understand my company, and we just have them implement AI and have them working with AI instead of taking the time to train this new employee. The third point that I wanted to bring up is that where teachers come into the mix is that they will not warned that the game has changed. It's as if there's two different silos, as in there's education or the educational world over here, the public sector, and some private universities. And then they have the world of private ownership and equity and business. And they're not intertwined. They're not thinking the same thing. Teachers, educators are thinking, hey, we want this student to have a chance. We want them to give them an opportunity. And that's what they're preparing them for, to have an opportunity. While the business owner is thinking, how little do I have to pay in order to get what I need done in my business? What is the cheapest way for me to solve this problem? And they're not the intentions, the goals are unaligned, which is why there's a disconnect between what's going on in the education world, what preparing students for, and what the world of work actually is now. The name of the game has always been, for at least for employers, what is the cheapest way for me to get this problem solved? It's just before, in the industrial age, the price of that knowledge was much higher. So employers were forced to pay those with specialized skills that they had learned in the education game, in the education pipeline. They were forced to pay for those. But now that technology is widely available for everyone with a smartphone, you don't even need a laptop anymore. And then now these students are coming out and they're not able to get jobs. This is why you're exhausted. It's because the two worlds are no longer in alignment. The world of work, the world of economics, the world of finance is no longer in alignment with what is going on in the education system. They're moving in two different directions. So you're trying to be the bridge from a gap that keeps increasing, and your wealth is being affected, your stability is being affected, the lives of your students' wealth and ability to earn is being affected. And no one told you. Nobody warned you. I definitely wasn't taught about the world of finance and ownership and work in my day. And now that AI is here, everything is different. But I don't want to leave you thinking that it's hopeless. I definitely have some solutions that I think will really be helpful if you keep up with the series. But I just wanted to make sure that you at least know that there is a problem and that it's definitely not your fault. It's just that things are changing and you weren't warned. So now that we are aware, we can definitely try to start making some different moves. Those who can adapt are going to be the ones who fare the best moving forward. So if you take nothing else from this video, please just remember this. The biggest risk right now isn't the change that's happening. It's staying locked into a system that was never designed to build for long-term security for you in the first place. And this isn't just about AI or technology. It's about money. It's about ownership and who actually benefits as the economy changes. In the next video, we're going to talk about why paychecks alone are never going to be any kind of real protection, and why understanding how money moves is becoming just as important as understanding how to teach. Because your impact deserves stability, and your future deserves more than just surviving another school year. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you again later.